In the crowded halls of Lincoln High, shy sophomore Lily Grayson walked with her head down. She was invisible to most until a bully's slap echoed through the corridor. What happened next shocked everyone. Lily snapped his elbow in one swift move. Her secret? Past no one saw coming? Please subscribe for more gripping stories that uncover the strength behind the silence. The bell rang at Lincoln High School, a sprawling brick building in suburban Ohio, where the hallways buzzed with the chaotic energy of teenagers. Lily Grayson, a 16-year-old sophomore, slipped through the crowd, her worn sneakers silent against the polished floor. Her oversized hoodie swallowed her slight frame, and her dark hair curtained her face, shielding her from the world. She was the kind of girl nobody noticed, not the popular kids, not the teachers, not even the janitors. To most, she was a shadow. Drifting from class to class, her nose buried in a book or her earbuds drowning out the noise. But today, March 12th, 2025, would be the day Lily Grayson became unforgettable. The hallway was a gauntlet of cliques, jocks tossing a football, cheerleaders giggling over their phones, and the usual troublemakers loitering by the lockers. At the center of it all was Brandon Keller, a senior with a linebacker's build and a smirk that screamed trouble. His crew, 3 other seniors who followed him like hyenas, lounged against the wall, scanning for their next target. Brandon's eyes locked on Lily as she approached, her head down, clutching her backpack straps. She was an easy mark, the kind of kid who never fought back. Brandon nudged his friend Jake, a wiry kid with a buzzcat, and muttered something that made them both laugh. The plan was set. Lily felt their stares but kept walking, her heart thudding. She'd dealt with Brandon before: snide comments in the cafeteria, a shove in the stairwell, her books accidentally knocked to the floor. She'd always ignored it, swallowed the humiliation, and moved on. Mom's advice echoed in her head. Keep your head down, Lily. Don't give them a reason. But today, something felt different. The air was heavier, the hallway louder, and Brandon's voice cut through the din like a blade. "Hey, ghost girl," he called, loud enough for heads to turn. Lily's steps faltered, but she didn't stop. The nickname stung, Ghost Girl, coined because she was so quiet, so invisible. Brandon stepped into her path, his broad frame blocking her way. His friends fanned out behind him, boxing her in. The crowd slowed, sensing a spectacle. "Where you going, huh? Got a date with your imaginary friends?" Brandon's voice dripped. With mockery, and his crew snickered. Lily's eyes flicked up just for a second, meeting his. Her gray eyes were calm, almost unnervingly so. But Brandon didn't notice. He saw weakness, a target. He reached out, quick as a snake, and slapped her across the cheek. The sound cracked through the hallway, sharp and ugly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lily's head snapped to the side, her hair falling across her face, but she didn't cry out. She didn't move. For a moment, the world seemed to freeze. Brandon grinned, expecting tears, maybe a whimper. He'd done this before, picked on the quiet ones, the ones who wouldn't fight back. But Lily wasn't like the others. Slowly, she straightened her, hand touching her cheek where a red mark bloomed. Her eyes locked onto Brandon's, and something in them made his grin falter. It wasn't fear or anger. It was something colder, something controlled. "You shouldn't have done that," she said, her voice low, barely audible. The crowd strained to hear, leaning in. Brandon laughed, but it was forced. "What? You gonna cry about it?" he taunted. Stepping closer, he raised his hand again, this time aiming for a harder hit. But before his palm could connect, Lily moved. It was so fast, so precise, that most of the crowd didn't even see what happened. One moment, Brandon's arm was swinging. The next, Lily had grabbed his wrist, twisted it, and yanked it down with a sickening crack. Brandon screamed, dropping to his knees, his right elbow bent at an unnatural angle. The hallway erupted in chaos, shouts, gasps, phones whipped out to record. Jake lunged forward, but Lily stepped back, her stance low, her eyes scanning the group like a predator, sizing up threats. Jake froze, suddenly unsure. The other 2 backed off, their bravado gone. Lily stood over Brandon, was clutching his arm, tears streaming down his face. "Don't touch me again," she said, her voice steady but laced with steel. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd just as a teacher. Mrs. Callahan pushed through, yelling for everyone to back up. The bell rang again, but nobody moved. They were too busy staring at Brandon, writhing on the floor, and whispering about the quiet girl who'd just broken his elbow. By lunch, the story had spread like wildfire. Videos of the incident were already circulating on Explorer clips showing Lily's swift takedown. The comments were a mix of shock and awe. "Who is she? That was insane. Did you see her face? She didn't even flinch." But nobody knew the real Lily Grayson. Not yet. To them, she was still Ghost Girl, and with a new label. The girl who snapped Brandon Keller's elbow in the principal's office. Lily sat across from Principal Nguyen, a stern woman with glasses perched on her nose. Mrs. Callahan stood nearby, arms crossed, recounting what she'd seen, or rather, what she hadn't. "By the time I got there, Brandon was on the ground, and Lily was gone," she said. Brandon, his arm in a sling, sat sullenly in another chair, his parents hovering behind him. "We're furious," Mrs. Keller shouted. "We're demanding Lily's expulsion, suspension, anything. She assaulted our son. She's dangerous." Lily sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap, her expression unreadable. Principal Nguyen turned to her. "Lily, do you want to explain what happened?" Her tone was firm but not unkind. Lily glanced up, her gray eyes meeting the principal's. "He hit me first," she said simply. "I defended myself." Brandon's face reddened. "She broke my arm." He spat. "She's crazy." His parents nodded, but Principal Nguyen raised a hand. "We have witnesses, Brandon. Multiple students saw you strike her first. We're pulling the security footage to confirm." Brandon's bravado faded and his parents' outrage softened into uncertainty. Lily said nothing more, her silence a wall nobody could breach. The meeting ended with Brandon facing a week suspension for initiating the incident, while Lily was given a warning for excessive force. "You need to control your reactions, Lily," Principal Nguyen said. "We don't condone violence." Lily nodded, but her mind was elsewhere. She was thinking about the promise she'd made to herself years ago. Never again would she let someone hurt her without consequence. As she left the office, the whispers followed her. Kids stared, some with fear, others with respect. A few tried to approach her, but Lily kept walking, her earbuds back in, her hoodie pulled up. She didn't want their attention. She didn't want their questions. But the questions were coming, whether she liked it or not. So what nobody knew, what nobody could have guessed, was that Lily Grayson wasn't just a quiet girl. She had a past, one buried so deep even her closest teachers didn't know the half of it. 2 years earlier, Lily hadn't been in Ohio. She'd been in Chicago, living in a rundown apartment with her mother, Sarah, and her stepfather, Derek. Derek was a mean drunk, the kind who'd come home late and take out his failures on whoever was closest. Most nights, that was Lily. At 14, she was small, skinny, and scared. But she learned fast. She learned to read Derek's moods, to dodge his fists, to hide when she could. One night, when Derek came home, reeking of whiskey, he'd caught her in the kitchen, grabbing a glass of water. He'd backhanded her so hard, she'd hit the floor, her lips splitting open. That was the night everything changed. Sarah, who'd always been too afraid to stand up to Derek, saw the blood on her daughter's face and snapped. She grabbed a kitchen knife and told Derek to leave, her hand shaking but her voice steady. He laughed, lunged for the knife, and in the chaos, Lily scrambled to her feet. She didn't think she acted. She grabbed Derek's arm, twisted it the way she'd seen in a self-defense video she'd watched obsessively on YouTube, and heard a pop. Derek howled, clutching his dislocated shoulder. Sarah called the police, and Derek was gone by morning, arrested for domestic abuse. After that, Sarah and Lily moved to Ohio for a fresh start in a quiet town where nobody knew their story. Sarah got a job as a nurse, and Lily enrolled at Lincoln High. But Lily wasn't the same girl anymore. She'd spent the last 2 years training first in secret, then openly. She found a local martial arts dojo run by a retired Marine named Sensei Sato. He saw something in her, a quiet strength, and taught her not just how to fight, but how to control her fear, her anger, her pain. Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. Soaked it all up, training every evening after school. It wasn't about revenge. It was about survival. She'd promised herself she'd never be a victim again. Back at school, the incident with Brandon was only the beginning. The videos on X kept spreading, and by the next day, Lily was a minor celebrity. Kids she'd never spoken to were suddenly saying hi, asking her to sit with them at lunch. The attention made her skin crawl. She didn't want to be a hero or a villain. She just wanted to be left alone. But Brandon's crew had other plans. Jake, his right-hand man, wasn't about to let Lily's stunt slide. He cornered her after school in the parking lot, flanked by the other two, their faces hard with anger. "You think you're tough now? Ghost girl," Jake sneered, stepping closer. Lily's heart raced, but her training kicked in. Her hands stayed loose, her stance relaxed, her eyes scanning for exits. "Walk away, Jake," she said, her voice calm. "I don't want trouble," but Jake wasn't listening. Swung a fist, aiming for her face. Lily sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and used his momentum to flip him onto the asphalt. He hit the ground hard, groaning. The other two hesitated, then backed off when they saw her stance. Slow, ready, unafraid. Word of the parking lot incident spread even faster than the hallway video. By the end of the week, Lily was a legend, but not the kind she wanted to be. Teachers started watching her closely, half expecting her to snap again. Her classmates were split. Some thought she was a badass, others a freak. Then there was Mia, a junior who ran the school's newspaper. Mia was curious, persistent, and determined to get Lily's story. She approached Lily in the library, where Lily was hiding out during lunch. "Mind if I sit?" Mia asked, sliding into the chair across from her without waiting for an answer. Lily glanced up, wary. Mia was all confidence, bright eyes, a quick smile, and a notebook already open. "I'm writing a piece about what happened," Mia said. "Everyone's talking about you, but nobody knows you. Care to share your side?" Lily's instinct was to shut her down, but something about Mia's earnestness made her pause. "There's nothing to say," she said finally. "Brandon hit me. I defended myself. End of story." Mia tilted her head, unconvinced. "It wasn't just self-defense, Lily. You moved like you've been training for years." "Where'd you learn that?" Lily's jaw tightened. She didn't want to talk about Chicago, about Derek, about the nights she'd spent practicing moves in her bedroom until her muscles ached. But Mia wasn't letting it go. Over the next few days, she kept showing up at Lily's locker, in the cafeteria, even at the dojo, where she'd somehow tracked her down. Sensei Sato, amused by Mia's persistence, let her watch a session. Mia's eyes widened as she saw Lily spar, her movements fluid and precise. "You're like a ninja," Mia said later, half joking. Lily didn't smile. But Mia's article, when it came out, wasn't what Lily expected. It wasn't sensational or gossipy. It was thoughtful, focusing on the pressure of high school, the toll of bullying, and the strength it took to stand up. Mia didn't mention Chicago or Derek. Didn't know about them, but she painted Lily as someone who'd chosen to fight back. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. The article went viral on the school's X page, and suddenly Lily wasn't just Ghost Girl or the elbow snapper. She was a symbol, someone kids looked to when they felt powerless. Not everyone was a fan, though. Brandon's parents were suing the school, claiming Lily's actions were excessive. The lawsuit brought reporters to Lincoln High, their cameras flashing as they tried to get a shot of the violent girl. Lily hated it, but Mia was there, deflecting questions, running interference. "Not the story you think," Mia told one reporter. "She's not a villain. She's just a kid who's been through more than you know." The lawsuit hearing was set for April, and as the date approached, Lily's anxiety grew. She didn't want to testify, didn't want to relive the hallway incident in front of a judge. But Sensei Sato sat her down one evening after class. "You didn't start this, Lily," he said, his voice steady. "But you can finish it. Show them who you are, not with your fists, but with your truth." Lily nodded. But the weight of it, all Brandon, the lawsuit, the stares. The whispers was crushing her. The twist came the night before the hearing. Mia showed up at Lily's house, her face pale. "I found something," she said, holding out her phone. It was a video, not from the hallway, but from a week earlier, posted on an obscure X account. It showed Brandon and his crew cornering another kid, a freshman named Tim, in the same hallway. Brandon had slapped him too, and Tim had run off crying. The video had barely any views, buried under the algorithm, but it was proof Brandon wasn't just a one-time bully, he was a pattern. Lily and Mia took the video to Principal Nguyen, who contacted the school's lawyer. At the hearing, the video was played for the judge, along with statements from other students who'd come forward after Mia's article. Kids Lily didn't even know, kids who'd been too scared to speak up before. They told stories of Brandon's cruelty, shoves, slaps, threats. The judge ruled in the school's favor, dismissing the lawsuit. Brandon's family moved away shortly after. Brandon transferred to another school. Lily thought that would be the end of it, but life at Lincoln High had changed. She wasn't invisible anymore. The kids still called her Ghost Girl, but now it was a nickname of respect, not mockery. She started sitting with Mia at lunch, even joined the newspaper staff when Mia wouldn't take no for an answer. Sato noticed a change. To Lily, sparring was lighter, less desperate, like she was finally letting go of something. One afternoon, as Lily walked home from the dojo, she stopped at the park where she used to hide out when things got bad. She sat on a bench, watching kids play, and for the first time in years, she felt something like peace. She wasn't a victim anymore, not a shadow or a ghost. She was Lily Grayson, and she was enough. What did you think of Lily's story? Journey from silence to strength is one we'll never forget. Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. New York, California, Texas, or somewhere else in the USA. Subscribe for more stories that inspire and surprise.